Hi, everybody, and good Tuesday. Thanks for being here as we wrap up February, potentially on a very stormy note. Headlines tonight will, of course, include tracking severe weather threats for eastern Kentucky and certainly those onto our west and north, which may be in for more so of a bout with Mother Nature. We'll talk about 2 men charged with trafficking in methamphetamine. We'll also be following the 15th region with some scores and a few highlights for you, at least one good one from one of last night's ladies' matchups, and how AEDs could end up in all of the schools in the state of Kentucky after a movement that started right here at home by a local nurse. It's a really nice story and one that I think unquestionably will save lives. And it all started right here in Magoffin County, and I'll let more about it in a few moments. A little scratchy around the edges, my voice and everything else, so bear with me tonight. I'm hoping that's going to be as bad as it gets, because we've got a lot of news to cover throughout the rest of the week, and the regional tournament is just a portion of that. As you very well know by now, I am sure, with the one call in effect, Magoffin County Schools out for the remainder of the week due to sickness and illness. I spoke with Superintendent of Schools, Scott Helton. Actually, I spoke to him yesterday for a report forthcoming in a few moments and kind of had an idea as to where they were afraid things were going to go, and he confirmed a few moments ago that indeed attendance rates district-wide were down to 81%, and that's just below what they can really stand to operate. And of course, it's also a sign that everyone needs to go home, stay home, and get well. So classes called off for the rest of the week in the Magoffin County school system. One thing that I was set to do today that we will do tomorrow, but we still have to announce to give you a significant heads up. A ceremony to be held here in Sagersville marking the 5th anniversary of the March 2nd, 2012 tornado. It's being organized by the city of Sagersville. It will take place in the Ramey Park starting at around 7. I'll have the exact time for you and the details on tomorrow's program, but that's this Thursday evening for a ceremony, once again honoring and recognizing all that we have done since the March 2nd tornado, and we'll have more on that on tomorrow's program, certainly. A whole lot of ground to cover, as I just referred to, on tonight's program. And let me go ahead and, while I've got a few other details pending on some arrests and some other stories to bring you, let me go ahead right now and take a few moments and take you through how a local nurse and her heart, quite literally, have led to life-saving devices now in all of our schools in Magoffin County, and how she, along with her task force and our newly elected state representative, have all come together, as well as some others, and made major strides in seeing automated electronic defibrillators installed, hopefully, in all of Kentucky schools. It was a movement that began here locally in Magoffin County when we first heard about it back in August during this coverage of the Magoffin County Board of Education meeting. That's when Brandy Helton asked several others to join her in forming a task force and going before the Magoffin Board of Education, including local pastor and assistant coach of the girls basketball team, Justin Williams, who himself just not that long ago had a heart emergency and now has a pacemaker, local physician Scott Arnott, and others with their own personal or other vested interest in seeing AEDs placed in our schools.
Well, I've been a registered nurse for 12 years, and I've not been able to work for the past couple of years due to my own heart condition. I have an implanted defibrillator in my chest. So I have a passion for it, and I want to help people. So I'm a very spiritual person, so I got to thinking and praying and looking for spiritual guidance, and this came to me, and I just followed through with it, and I started doing research and more research, and then I just started going through the steps and going through the motions to get it done. And I contacted Mr. Helton here, and I contacted all the appropriate people at the Kentucky Board of Education that I needed to find out the Kentucky laws and things in order to get the program in place.
From there, the many states had in place and to see that change for our state, they started here at home.
Initially, that's what you think. This is something that should automatically be there. But when you look at everything, you have to take everything into consideration. You've got to look at the laws and the requirements to use such a device, and we weren't comfortable with not knowing at first. And once we got some information and started looking at everything, going through it and analyzing all the pros that go along with it. Like Brandy said, we didn't have a lot of people to contact in the state of Kentucky because it really very few people, or very few districts had any of these things in them. But upon talking with Brandy and reading, and she was very helpful with sending us some documentation, and she kept all the board members informed and things like that. We had a couple of 3 months period of that we were reading the dialogue and going through it. We didn't make a quick decision, or not that we didn't want to, but the thing about it, it wasn't just money, but they ended up being quite expensive to put in. But we decided that for the safety and for the dollar amount, it was something that we wanted to do as a district.
And Hilton says that he was able to use some safe schools money for the roughly $14,000 purchase that will put one defibrillator in each of the 5 Magoffin County schools and one at each of the 2 athletic complexes.
Our coaches go through it's a 2-hour training every year on safety issues, and AED is already on the safety issues with the 2-hour program they take every year. They have a 2-year a clinic course they have to have too. So some of our coaches has already been trained in it. We just did a refresher course in the AED with all of our coaches to bring them up to date what's going on. And like Scott said, this device is childproof. It won't shock a beating heart. So I mean, even if you put it on, it shows you step by step where to put it, how to use it, and it just reassures our coaches. Where our high school's at right now. The ambulance service is right across the road, but 3 minutes to a person without oxygen could cause brain damage, and bring even death. So it just helps us to have it on site, ready to use whenever possible, whenever we need it.
And as great as that is, and even with the program and machines put into Magoffin County schools, Brandy still had an even bigger job ahead, one that would rely on some great support and a campaign promise that State Representative John Blanton made good on last week.
Late October, I met with Brandy Helton Howard, an actual local here in Magoffin County. She began talking to me about her passion for AEDs in the school systems, and we've had surprisingly more than I realized of young people in our schools around the state. They've had these devices at the schools, would have had a possibility of maybe surviving a cardiac arrest, and have actually lost their lives from not having them. So after Brandy had contacted me, committed to her that I would introduce a bill seeking to put these AEDs in all the school systems, requiring them to be in all the school systems throughout the state. It was very well received. Surprisingly, this bill had came up in the past and not have been able to be passed in the House. It is inexpensive in comparison to what the potential life-saving of any child. And it's like buying a car. You can buy a Chevette or you can buy a Cadillac. They range from $800 to up into thousands. So this is a minimal cost that each school system will have to encounter. And also made it keeping in mind that some school systems are obviously larger than our school system. So they have until the end of the 2019-2020 school season to get these purchased and in place. And the reason being for that was those that are much like our school system that are often cash strapped is that they can purchase them in phases and implement them rather than one large sum purchase at one time.
And you'll notice that John nor Brandy were alone during their presentation before the House. They were joined by the family of a young man who is no longer with us, but one that is believed would have been saved had there been an AED nearby the field that he was on.
You see these things from time to time on the news, but they're things that they don't affect you personally, that you tend to forget about them over time. And I actually, during this process, after filing this bill, ran it by another one of the legislators who was a nurse, and she knew a family that had lost a son because of this very thing in northern Kentucky. His name was Cameron Baston. and Cameron was on the soccer field and went into cardiac arrest. And this school had a defibrillator, but it wasn't out on the soccer field. It wasn't a portable. That's why I emphasized portable. And it took 11 minutes for the ambulance to arrive at this location. In most areas, and especially in eastern and rural Kentucky, you're not going to get an ambulance at 11 minutes. And when you go beyond that 3-minute mark, then the chances of survival, they plummet, even to the point that they fall below 10%.
He had graduated and was playing soccer with his brother out on the field. And he had the condition that I have. It's called ARVD. And he collapsed in sudden cardiac arrest. And they tried to revive and resuscitate him and were unsuccessful.
Something that we certainly hope will never happen in Magoffin County schools. Something at least we now stand a much greater chance of never happening in the Magoffin County school system, with AEDs now or to be soon put in place at each facility. And that goes for all schools across the state of Kentucky. Blanton's bill, as it was first proposed, was passed unanimously out of committee, and then, as I told you last week, was passed 92-2 on the House floor, expected to go before the Senate, where it is also expected to be favored as well. And this entire movement all began here in Magoffin County, I'm so proud to report, with one concerned woman.
This thing started in Magoffin County by Brandy Helton Howard. She approached me. I had no idea the need and the importance of these things, but I have come to have a great respect for what these things can do, and a great belief that every school should have them. Not just have them, but they need to ensure that every time they go out on the practice field, every time they go out to a ball game, that they take these portable AEDs with them.
That has to be nice to be able to say, we were there first.
That's right.
At some of the superintendents at the training I was at this past weekend, that was one of the things they said, well, it looks like you're going to cause us to have to buy some AEDs. I said, it looks like you're going to have to.
And I think it looks like we know exactly who we need to thank for that. We'll follow the vote as it is presented before the Senate and let you know how it all turns out and just how soon we can expect to see this become law statewide. To get high-speed internet on their state-of-the-art fiber optic network for all of your home and business solutions, or to watch TV without a contract on over 200 digital channels with superb quality, or stay connected with family and friends with 24/7 telephone service you can always depend on, contact Foothills Broadband today. Or just click on their link to the right to find out how they're working to provide the latest in communications at affordable prices with exceptional service at Foothills Broadband. In other local headlines, a vehicle traveling at a high rate of speed in Sagersville caught the attention of police, who caught two men for what they say was trafficking in methamphetamine. The arrests go back to the 23rd, last Thursday, for which both men are still lodged in the Big Sandy Regional Detention Center. Uniform citations filled out by the Magoffin County Sheriff's Department indicate that 25-year-old Eddie Porter was behind the wheel of a vehicle that was noticed traveling at a high rate of speed in town in Sagersville. That vehicle was stopped, and the officer, I believe Detective Neil Adams with the Magoffin County Sheriff's Department, if I'm not mistaken, was give consent to search the vehicle, where he found several items, drug-related items, scales, syringes, other items. The other person with McFarland also was said to have had a large amount of cash in his possession, $620, mostly in $20 bills. Porter was charged with reckless driving, trafficking in a controlled substance being methamphetamine after about 2 grams of meth were found, trafficking in a legend drug, and drug paraphernalia. While the arrest citation for his passenger, 25-year-old Frederick Channing Harvey, says that he indeed was the passenger and that he had several baggies of marijuana, also a bag of what the officer believed to be methamphetamine. He also says that a further search of the vehicle turned up about 2 grams of meth, as I've already mentioned, and several other items, including scales and those recovered, including the cash as well. He was charged, that being Harvey, with trafficking in controlled substance, methamphetamine, trafficking in marijuana, trafficking in a legend drug, drug paraphernalia, and as well for carrying a concealed deadly weapon. And as I said, both men were still lodged in the Big Sandy jail as of the top of the program. A quick break. I'll be right back with some more headlines in about 30 seconds. Before I go on to tonight's community calendar, it happens not too awfully often, but I'm always very careful to make sure that we get them on one way or another, late or not. And while going through what was literally a few hundred emails in the past few days, as that's a normal thing around here, I came across 2 birthday wishes that are now belated, and that's all on me. One was actually for this past Friday, where I was asked on behalf of family and friends to send best birthday wishes to Donna Sloan. Now, Donna, I'm just reading it like it says, who was celebrating her half-century birthday on Saturday over the course of the weekend. Your friends and family hoping that the next half-century will be just as amazing for you as the first. Happy belated birthday to Donna Sloan, and happy 47th birthday that I'm pretty confident that I missed. I'm not 100% certain about this one, but to cover all my bases, a happy 47th birthday to Laura Cole. Happy birthday, Laura. Love your kids, grandkids, and family. Her birthday on the 26th, which was Sunday, so it belated too as well. And also, I see here just now, seeing this attached, give a happy birthday wish to Timmy Ball. Love family and friends. His birthday was yesterday on the 27th. My apologies, but a very happy birthday to you all, nonetheless. A couple other announcements before we go on to the rest of our community calendar. The Syersville Grade School wanted me to remind you that their book fair will carry on into next week, with classes being out for the rest of this week. Students and families can take advantage of their spring book fair next week. And kindergarten registration begins March the 1st. That's tomorrow at SGS. If you have a child that will be 5 years old before August the 1st, they will be eligible to register in kindergarten, and early registration is advised. I'll go over the list of what you need and remind you throughout the next few days. Here's the rest of what we have for you on tonight's Magoffin Farm Bureau Community Calendar. And it's a birthday that I didn't miss, thank goodness. Happy 46th birthday to Laura Sue Shepard, from family and from friends and from Aunt Bonnie as well. Happy birthday, Laura Sue. Happy 46th to you. A reminder from the Extension Office that the 4-H Shooting Sports Club is having their first meeting of the season this Saturday at 6 at the Extension Office. And weather permitting, they are looking for a wonderful outing this Saturday. I'll tell you more about that weather in just a few moments, but it's for ages 9 to 18. If you'd like to be a sponsor and help the children of Magoffin County have a successful year in 4-H shooting sports, contact our friend at the Extension Service, Lacey May, at 349-1236. And I've got a few other announcements. I think we can hold off for a day or two, and I'm a little pressed on time, so let me skip on over real quickly to my nightly reminder. Birthdays and anniversaries and announcements like you just heard for churches, groups, or organizations are free. All you have to do is tell me so I can tell everyone else about them. First up on obituary listings, a reminder of services to be held in honor of 63-year-old Alma McKenzie of Leander. Married to Earl McKenzie, who preceded her in death, she's survived by son Matthew and daughter Laura Lee Tackett. A celebration of life service is going to be held this Saturday at 1 o'clock from the Burgett Community Church. My apologies. The family is welcoming friends with a dinner following the service, and the Syersville Funeral Home is in charge of arrangements. 61-year-old Jimmy Conley of Flat Fork passed away on the 28th, the son of the late Ellis and Mazina Blanton Hall. Besides his parents, he is preceded in death by his wife, Kelly Cooper Corley. Surviving are sons Jeremy and Christopher and daughter April. Visitation will be after 5 o'clock this Thursday, and prior to Friday's services, they're set to begin at 1 o'clock in his honor, all from the Sagersville Funeral Home. And services, I'm told, are still being made at this hour in honor of Anna Lawson Bailey, 80, of Elk Creek Road here in Sagersville, Magoffin County, who passed away on today's date. More to come from the Magoffin County Funeral Home. Well, I didn't make the trek to the expo last night to take in any first-round 15th Region Girls Basketball Tournament action. Quite simply, I am weeks behind already. I'm always behind. But after covering the district tournament and being in the office and editing pretty much around the clock for about 5 days, I simply had some commercials, and I still do some things I have to get caught up on. So I forewent going to first round action. It doesn't mean I don't have something to show you or to talk about as we see who advanced last night in the girls' bracket. Game 1, round 1 went to Pike Central and the Eagles. They took out Betsy Lane and the Bobcats, the ladies from each club, of course. 7 points, 57-50. Pike County Central will advance to the next round, taking on the winner of the next game last night, which was the ladies from Central and the ladies from Pikeville, the Eagles and the Panthers, and it was an overtime 1-point game in the end. This one had everybody literally clinging to their seats, and it went down to the wire not once but twice. Johnson Central's Ashley Belcher scored with 2 seconds to go in regulation, and that put them in overtime against Pikeville. That's not what you're looking at. This is a later shot. Sammy Seitz coming from behind, and this was a big game winner as time expired, topping the Lady Panthers as the buzzer went off 69-68 in their 15th region tournament at the Expo last night. Central now 27-6 advances against Pike County Central. On this Friday night, it was the third win for Central against Pikeville this season. They faced off twice in the regular season and were victorious on both occasions. Wow, what a shot. What an end of the game. Sorry I missed it. There you see the first round of the girls for tonight. Second round action will be, of course, Shelby Valley and Paintsville. Tip-off set for 8 o'clock tonight. That's going to be another one to watch. We're watching the weather, and I hope you're watching us right after this quick break. Stay tuned. All right, if you're catching the late show, I think we're still going to be good for most of the overnight as far as severe weather is concerned. Radar showing pretty much calm conditions and a gap in all the activity. Don't be fooled, but I do think that we'll be okay throughout at least most of the overnight, and certainly for the next several hours, as you can see. In fact, in the latest update from the National Weather Service right now, scattered showers and thunderstorms aren't being called for to work their way back into the viewing area until mainly after 5 o'clock in the morning. As I get back on the right page there. And after 5 o'clock in the morning, showers and thunderstorms will become likely, mainly after 10 in the morning through 5 p.m. tomorrow. So keep in mind, daylight storms infinite times better than nighttime storms, and that is a good thing. We don't want to have to deal with them at all, but if you're going to have to during daylight hours, obviously the best. 64 degrees right now if you're watching with us tonight, and we expect to see temperatures climb throughout tomorrow to about 67. A lot of warm air out in front of what's rolling in, and with all of that clashing, we will see once again breezy conditions. Gusts southwesterly, 13 to 32 miles per hour. Those isolated storm areas will see much higher gusts even than that. So keep your eye on the weather throughout tomorrow. I think you should be able to get some pretty good sleep tonight, but not expecting major weather until later on in the morning hours. And I don't think until after daylight, but still, last thing you do before you go to bed, check that weather. Then maybe getting up a little early, especially if you're planning on sleeping in, and because there's no school tomorrow in Magoffin County, getting up a little extra early might be a good idea. But that right now looks to be the timeline, the severity of which we still can't really pinpoint, but we are under an enhanced risk for severe weather tomorrow, and that may even increase in the next several hours. 67-33, stormy tomorrow, possible severe weather threat on the horizon. Thursday, cooler air behind it, 47-32, mostly sunny and calmer skies. And that shall be the trend for Friday at 43 and mostly sunny. Saturday, 57 and sunny. Our next bout of some showers comes around Sunday, the latter half of your weekend. Right now looking to be right around 60. Mostly cloudy skies and around 40% chance of showers. I'm going to call that a late chance of showers right now. And I'm thinking that might even be pushed off on into Monday of next week. But we'll know more in a day or two. That'll do it for tonight. Stay safe. Keep your eye on things happening outside, and I do mean the weather. And be sure to keep your eye on us back here next time tomorrow night for more of your news today. Thanks for watching.